afternoon for some of you, depending on where you are. I'm just gonna give it a minute and see who's gonna come on and join us live. And I'm gonna check that I'm broadcasting here, because sometimes when I've done lives, I haven't been able to see the comments. Okay. I see it here in the group. I wish I could play music right now, but you can't anymore because it's like copyright infringement of the music that you're playing. Did you know that? So I haven't done lives very consistently over the years, but when I have done them, like about a year ago, I would, play some music, which always like got the groove going, and now you can't. So, hopefully I'm on Do Not Disturb on my phone here. Oops. Let's see if I can do that. No. Okay. Well, let's hope I don't get cut off. I'm going to dive right in, guys. So for those of you listening to the replay, you don't have to sit here and wait. If you have come on live, though, I'd love for you to say hi and tell me in the comments who you are, and just say hi so I know that you're there. And of course, questions are welcome. So I have a little bit of content that I'm going to cover today for our challenge, and this is our challenge that's about raising your prices and starting to get into the high ticket. Hi, Ariel. Hey, Jess. Yay. So good you guys have joined. So the challenge is really helping you all with your mindset, and then just practically how to increase your prices, okay? And I know there's a lot of fear that comes up about it, and there's a lot of can I even charge high ticket? So yesterday we talked about the value of what you provide, hey Jacqueline, and how to think about that. So if you didn't tune into that, make sure you go back and listen to that video, because that will really help you. Okay, I just got a call and it looks like I'm still live. Okay, sorry about that. Hopefully they don't keep calling. So and now my dog's like, what's happening? What's happening? Hi. Oh gosh, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Aisha? I'm like, yeah, tell me how you pronounce your name, but of course you'd be typing it. Maybe there's a way that you can type it. Aisha. Do I have it right? Let me know if that's right. Yeah? Okay, cool. Awesome. As I'm crafting my own premium, I want to know offer daily or weekly connection, but I don't know how sustainable that is. Okay, close enough. All right. Okay, cool. Ariel, can you just hold that and copy it in case you need to repost it and I forget it? I just want to kind of recap yesterday, dive into what I want to talk about today, and then I will totally open it up for questions on run the gamut of all this different stuff. Hey Jen, glad you could join us today. So before that call came in to throw me off track, usually I have my phone on Do Not Disturb all the time, but of course today I don't. Okay, so go back and listen to the first video. Yeah, any hearts and stuff flying across the screen is really fun to see, of course, as I'm doing this. But anything like that, go back and listen to that first video. And we talked a lot about what are the big 3 to 4 main high ticket niches, and to really start thinking about how you can fit yourself in there. And that doesn't mean that you have to change what you do. It's really about getting into a market that people really see the value of having coaching, okay? Because remember, what I mostly talked to you about yesterday is people don't buy themselves into something. They don't buy sort of an addition to their life. They actually more buy themselves out of pain. Pain is a major motivator. And so we really need to tap into that. And a lot of times when I'm talking to spiritual women, right, this is resistance, because we don't want to talk about the pain, we don't want to talk about the negativity, and we don't want to talk about like all the shit that can be going on, right? But the thing is, if you were to reframe it to think, gosh, I'm going to help more people, the more that I can exercise my skill set in the psychological understanding of sales and marketing that says that people buy based on getting themselves out of pain. So in the interest of making a bigger impact, are you willing to really dive into what the client's pain that they're having right now, and not just talking about love and happiness and balance and, you know, whatever else, okay? All that's good. And yeah, we want to bring that to someone, but essentially they don't buy themselves into that. And you know why? A lot of times for people where they're at right now, they can't even imagine what that would be like. You know, they just like, cool, Jen. They can't even grasp. I remember this one story that one of my coaches about a couple years ago told me, that when he started to make like 10 to 15,000 a month, you know, and that's like, it was like feeling really good for him. And then he had a call with a coach or something, and that coach was like, yeah, I could get you to 50 grand. He couldn't even understand, like grasp that, you know, it was kind of like, that would be cool, but like, I don't even understand what that would even mean, like for me, you know, like I don't even think that's possible for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if someone's not connected to that huge vision, what's more powerful is if that coach were to talk to him about what he's spending right now, what are his expenses, how much he's working, and how he could start to leverage and scale and get to a bigger number so that he could have a release of the pain that he's experiencing right now, staying at the level that he's at. All right? So, and that's what would have connected him to the bigger vision. But just kind of hanging this carrot in front of him going, yeah, don't you want to get to like 50 grand a month? He was like, I don't even know what that feels like. So a lot of us, we're transformational coaches. We've experienced like, you know, an awakening, which is in our life, which is related to like our health and our body and love and our own happiness and our own balance and our own fulfillment and our own career and our own relationships and our own money and our own business. And we're living an amazing life and we want to share that with other people. But someone who is like not there yet, they almost like don't even have an understanding that that's possible. So what's more powerful for them is when you talk to them about where they're at right now, you know, and like really connecting the symptoms of the pain that they're experiencing, and then, you know, really starting to help them understand, right, that there's a solution to that, there's something else. So that being said, you know, that's where I need you guys to sort of be, is like yesterday we talked about how do we fit into a high ticket niche. Today is all about where to find those high ticket clients, right? So what I hear all the time from women is, I can't seem to connect or know where to find people who are willing to pay me high ticket prices. There's a fear that people wouldn't pay them, won't be able to pay them. And that is coming from a money consciousness, a wealth consciousness in our own subconscious or conscious mind, limiting beliefs, belief system around who has money and who doesn't, and who's gonna spend it. So the one thing you do want to examine, we're gonna cover beliefs a little bit later in the week, but the one thing that you really do want to kind of feel into is when you start to say, okay, I'm going to charge $3,000 for this major pain point, and to help someone get, you know, to the next level and solve it with them, right? Is, do you believe it's worth it? Because, you know, if you don't, no one else will, right? You have to believe it's worth it. And that's what, again, what we covered yesterday is like, what is that worth to someone? It's not even, there's not even like a price you could put on it, but you do have to really congruently in your energetic being feel that and believe that it's worth it. All right. So, so when we talk about where do these high ticket clients hang out, okay? There is no magical place that they hang out. That is a complete myth. Okay, it's a complete myth. This is, it is the way that you articulate the value of what you do, how you position yourself as an expert, and the trust that you are the solution to their problem. When you have a system set up that articulates that to someone, well, money is not an issue. Okay, so I hear all the time, you know, oh, I'm getting broke people on the phone. I'm getting broke people on the phone. And it's a combination of two things. They're not feeling the value of it. And so there's a way to do that through your funnel system and on your sales call. They have to see and feel the value of it. All right. And when they do, really money's not an issue. And the other part to that is that you have to really believe it. Believe that people already have the money. Believe that you're connecting with people who have the money. This is your wealth consciousness. Because if you keep believing and repeating in your mind that you're only connecting with broke people, guess what's going to happen? You're only going to connect with broke people. The other thing is, if you're not investing in yourself, you know, ask yourself, would you pay for that? Would you pay for what you're selling if you had the problem? Are you investing in yourself at high ticket levels? This is absolutely directly related in a mirror. If you keep saying on your calls, or if you had a discovery call with a client, with a coach that you wanted to work with, and you're like, yeah, I don't have the money, you know, I'm broke, I don't have the money, and or I'm not sure, or I need some time to think about it. These are all mirrors of the way that your clients are going to show up for you, and they're going to say the same things to you. So the sooner that you start to take different actions are going to come through in your clients, okay? So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the messaging, specifically what is the key in your messaging that needs to happen for people to see that this is a high value program or offering, okay? But I just want to first hit that point home, guys. Literally, there is no magical place. Yes, tomorrow I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we target, in Facebook ads, how we can use automatic schedulers, things like that make our life easier and put things on automation. And definitely targeting, getting in front of specific people, and I believe paid traffic is the best way to do that, helps. It's not that we're necessarily getting in front of people who have more money, but we're getting in front of people. When you use free traffic, nowadays on social media, there's no guarantee that your post is going to be seen by anyone. In a Facebook group, in a Facebook profile post, in a Facebook fan page, Facebook is really not showing it to anyone. It's getting buried, right? And so I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I definitely believe in organic strategies to grow your business, especially if you want to make some money before you can invest in paid traffic. But it's not the long-term way to go. It's inconsistent. You're not getting in front of people, okay? And paid traffic is the only way to do that. But it's not that using paid traffic, yes, we can target based on income and stuff like that, but it's really not necessary. It's really in the value that you provide in your messaging, okay? So that's what I'm going to talk about. Let me pause here and see if you have any questions right now. Hey, Pamela, thanks for joining right now on what I've just talked about, that there's no magic place, for the clients, and, that it's really all about your messaging and your belief system. Any questions on that? I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Ariel, if you want to ask your question again, I'm trying to remember it. Okay, so Ariel, if I'm understanding correctly, you're talking about the structure of your program. Is that right? And if it is, you're sort of I know I have to give me and need to scale. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to just call you out on here is that you're focusing on something that doesn't matter right now, okay? If you are already charging high ticket and you're already enrolling a bunch of people, and now you're at the point where you're like, how do I scale and leverage my time? Awesome. That's great. And definitely there's a solution there. But if I just want to call you out on the mental process here. If you're already there before you're enrolling high ticket clients, you're worried about something that you don't need to be worried about yet. You don't currently have that problem, okay? You're not there yet, right? So right now it's like, how about we just get our first $10,000 month and enroll 3 to 4 clients and have private sessions. I'm sure you can handle that, right? And then we'll worry about how we get to 20 to 50 later without making your head spin with private sessions. But first, like, you see how most people, most coaches out there are like designing a program and trying to figure out all this stuff to it that doesn't matter yet. You know, really get the messaging and the marketing and the sales calls down. You get that down, you start enrolling people. All right, now we're really focused on how do we automate? How do we make this a small group program so we put people together and so that we're not on private sessions anymore? Like, totally. That is absolutely in my motto. But we don't worry about that when you first start and you're like, I just want to get to 10K a month. Does that make sense? Cool. Awesome. So, you know, we have to really be diligent about our mind here. And that's one of the things that I focus on. Yeah, and then don't overpromise. Yeah. You know, you're selling them an 8-week or 10-week program and you're going to, you know, whatever, give them a call every week. I mean, can you handle 3 to 4 clients having private calls at $3,000 per piece? Would you be happy with that? So what I was just going to say is a lot of times we create problems in our mind that don't need to be there. You know what I mean? Like, we create like, oh no, then what would happen? Oh, what if I overpromise? What if I can't do it? What if but see, this is a mindset block, you know, because everything is figure outable and there are no problems actually. So, you know, if you're really committed to your goal, right, then you have to do what it takes to get to your goal. And you don't want to keep putting up this, like, you want to just start being aware of the way that your mind comes in and goes, but how are we going to do that with that? And but what if I do that and then it fails? And, you know, because this is the way our mindset and our resistance blocks come in, okay? And you just want to be super aware of it. That's where, of course, working with someone is really helpful because they're able to call you out and tell you, like, this is actually not a problem. Let's get you to the first step first, and then we worry about the second piece, okay? Okay, so I'm going to give you specific tips on how to make your messaging really, really strong so that people come ready, they see the value, they see you as an expert, they know you have a solution, and so then they want to pay you, okay? So this is the really important stuff. This is the really important stuff. It is not where do I find high ticket clients, is how do I make my messaging so powerful so that people can't help but get on the phone with me. They come to the phone already kind of ready to work with me because they already see that I know what I'm talking about. They see the value in it. I've hit their pain point really, really strongly, and they know I have a solution, and they see me as an expert. Yeah? And then it just becomes like, it doesn't really matter what the price is, to be honest with you. All right, so that's like the magic in marketing and setting up your business really, really, really well. All right, so number 1 in your messaging, and this is from your any post you do, any emails you send, if you want to create a video, a short video or a webinar, all of that is in here, okay? All of your messaging this is the way that you want to do it. Well, number 1, you're going to speak to their symptoms, all right? So when I say that, you think about the pain, the major pain that this person's having, okay? So say they're overweight. Just going to pick that super easy. Say they're overweight and they are not happy with their body, right? And what symptoms are they experiencing because of that? Think about that. So their main problem is that they're overweight. What are the symptoms of being overweight? The symptoms are, let's see, low self-esteem, not feeling confident, doubting themselves a lot, not enjoying eating, constantly looking for the next diet that they maybe should be on, negative self-talk, good one, Ariel. Hard time shopping, exactly. A woman, you know, like just doesn't want to go shopping, doesn't feel beautiful, feels like a failure, exactly, has been trying to do this for a while and hasn't rocked it, hasn't accomplished it, so kind of just deep down feels like a failure. How does it affect other areas of her life? So how does it affect her work? So if she's an entrepreneur, probably deeply affects her ability to run her business, right? And to attract more income. So related to money, okay? If she has a job, she probably, it probably doesn't help her in being able to live the lifestyle she knows she needs to be living in order to live more healthy. She probably doesn't like her job, which is contributing to like emotional eating, right? Is she in a relationship? So it's for sure affecting her relationship. If she's not confident, she doesn't feel beautiful, she doesn't feel sexy, she doesn't feel like she could go out and buy whatever clothes she wants, then she either is not in a relationship and she's lonely, or she's in a relationship but there's distance and that her partner feels it and she feels like her marriage might be, vulnerable because of this within her and she takes that on, right? Does she have kids? If she has kids, she may even feel health problems. That's a huge one. So I'll just finish with, if she has kids, she might feel like she's not a great example for her kids, right? She maybe is telling them to do something that she's not doing. Health problems is like huge, right? Like how being overweight leads to heart disease, cancer, inflammation, autoimmune disorder, hormonal problems, right? The list goes on and can lead to really chronic disease. So these are the symptoms of someone who has this major pain, but you never lose sight of the major pain. Her major pain is that she is not feeling beautiful because of the fact that she's carrying more weight than she wants to be carrying. And so that's your niche. That's the major pain point. You never stop talking about that to start talking about all these other things that I just said. You always come back to the main pain point. But the symptoms of that are what you talk about in your video, in your Facebook post, in your emails. Are you a woman and, you're carrying like 10 to 15 pounds extra and you feel, deep down like a failure? Have you been trying every diet out there and still nothing is working? Are you, is your marriage affected by the fact that you don't feel confident and sexy in your body? So this is very, very, very powerful, because what happens for that person is they feel like you're inside their head. And when you accomplish that, you've established a really deep connection with someone. You've established a really deep connection with someone, and therefore they start to know you, they start to like you, and they start to trust you. And this is a huge part of marketing. All right? And when that happens, they just feel more likely to want more from you. And they see you as an expert. That's the ultimate thing. When they feel like, whoa, how are you inside my head? They see you as an expert. Why? Because they know that you couldn't just do that having never either gone through it or worked with a lot of people who have the same problem. And then they start to see you as someone who could help them. Okay, so that's number one. You start to speak to their symptoms. This is their current mental dialogue. What's happening in their mind every day? Get inside their head. Number two, talk about what they're trying to do right now to fix their problem. So I kind of hit on that there in the symptoms. Are you trying XYZ diet? Have you given up gluten because of all the rage about being gluten-free? Have you tried like every exercise plan and still nothing is working for you? I mean, more specific than that, but think about what she's trying to do. Have you hired a personal trainer? Have you, whatever. You have to really understand, what would your ideal client do to try to fix their problem? And essentially, they should be things that because you're an expert, that don't work and won't ever work. And here are the reasons why. And you'll sort of say that in some of your messaging. You'll say, yeah, I talk with dozens of women every week, and they've told me that they tried XYZ fitness plan. And here's why it doesn't work. One, because it's not tailor-made to you. Two, it's probably sending your adrenals out of whack because, hard exercise when it's not the time for that in your body is actually just sending more stress signals, which is actually having you carry on more weight. Hey Liz, hey Dawn. So for example, right? I mean, I'm not a health coach, but I kind of work with health coaches. So I hear all this stuff all the time. So things like that you would point out to her, here's why that's not working, because you are trying to follow a system from everyone else and it's not specific to you, right? Does that give you an idea? Okay, so you're going to talk about what they're doing right now and then you might add in why that's not going to work. So how that relates to my business, for example, is I talk about how everyone's trying to get more visible online. They're trying to, Instagram and Facebook posts and Facebook groups and this and that and blog and write a book and blah, blah, blah. And they think that that's going to bring them clients, and it's not ever going to bring them a consistent flow of clients. Only if they automate their system and use paid traffic to get their ideal clients into their world is it going to bring them a steady stream. Visibility doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're a newbie coach, doesn't matter if you're an experienced coach. Being more visible, having thousands of followers doesn't matter. It does not transfer to money in your bank account. So I talk about that a lot with coaches because it's a myth that a lot of coaches think, I just need to get in front of more people. Once I get in front of more people, then they're going to come and buy my program. But it's not true, right? If you're here, you know that that's not true. So that's why, oh no, can you not hear me? Whoa. All right, well, I'll continue. Let me know if there's a problem. And I'll also look here. I see myself here. Okay, so that's why, and that's kind of how it relates in my business, right? You talk about what they're going to do, and you know that isn't going to hear. Oh, no. Oh, I can hear you. Okay. That you know that that's not going to work, right? And so that's why you don't, and so you kind of point that out to them. What that does in their brain is go, wow, she's also in my head. She knows exactly what I've been trying to do to fix it, and she's telling me that that's never going to work because she knows this because she's been doing this a while. Very, very, very powerful. Okay? And then the next thing you're going to do, I think this is number 3, and that's the last thing, is you're going to give them a solution. Now, this is most likely a solution that they're not going to be able to accomplish on their own, but we're not interested in not giving them value. And you know what? Even if you never gave them a solution in your post or in your blog or in your email or in your webinar or video, even if you never gave them a solution, rest assured that getting inside their head like this and really understanding what their pain, what their symptoms are, and what they're trying to do to fix it is so valuable for them. They're never going to be like, well, what the hell? Like, you told me you were going to tell me what to do. So, just understand that that's really valuable. But the third piece of it, to bring it full circle and for really to hit home that you're the credible expert to help them, is that you give them a taste of the solution that you would be helping them with. But most likely this is a solution that they don't know how to do on their own. Okay, they might try, and that's okay, and so at least they feel like they got some value, but most likely they really need your help with it. And that's why after that you would invite them to have a call with you. Okay, so an example of that is even in the example I just gave you, is the reason why those exercise regimens that you've been trying are not working is because it's not an individualized plan. And in my system, I share with you, there's these 3 parts to having an individualized and unique system for, getting rid of, these symptoms. And you would share, a little bit about that system. But probably they don't know how to accomplish that on their own, which is why they would want to take the next step with you. It invokes curiosity. And this is also a very powerful part of our messaging and marketing. They become really curious. Once they see you as an expert and they know that you understand their problem, they are really curious as to how you're going to help them, and they'll book the call with you. Okay? So, so that's what the messaging, that's generally how we make it super powerful so that price is not an issue. Okay? And, you know, for the most part, you know, people, when they see the value and they see you as an expert, you know, they're going to get resourceful and they're going to come up with the investment if you've hit their pain deep enough and they really trust that you have the solution to their problem. Yeah, you're welcome. All right. One last thing that I'm going to mention is just about their pain being deep enough, okay? Remember, when you go out to market, you don't want to target people who this is a new problem for them because they haven't been living with it long enough to have their pain deep enough. And so therefore, the motivation is not high to invest, to change it, all right? So in your marketing and in your messaging, you're also going to be very clear that you've been trying to do this for a while. You know, you've been trying this and this and this, and this hasn't worked. And, you know, for me, for example, it's like someone who wants to become a coach but has never coached before and hasn't tried to market and doesn't know that all that free stuff to try to get visible doesn't work yet. They're not motivated to work with me in my signature program to understand automation and leverage, right, to get to those $10,000 to $20,000 months because they haven't tried yet. So for your client, or say like this woman who's overweight in this example, if like it just happened and, you know, she still thinks that there's all these things she can try, right? What do you think? In her mind, she just wants to try those things first. So your prime person is someone who's tried to fix their problem already for a while and it hasn't worked. All right? So any questions before I call out what your call to action is for today, which you're going to post in the comments to qualify for our grand prize, which is a 20-minute private strategy session with me personally. They have to be living the pain. That's right. They absolutely have to be living the pain. Otherwise, there's no motivation. And buying behavior is definitely based on their motivation to get out of their pain. And so if it's not really deep, and this is a whole nother conversation about sales calls, right? And having those sales conversations, because that's when you're really digging in, like, how deep is it, you know? And then you start to understand how motivated they are to get out of the pain. Yeah, exactly. Any questions, loves? Thank you for being here. This is so fun and exciting. Oh, you see my mug? He's not in here right now, but I've been talking for a half an hour already. No questions? All right, so feel free to put them in there, but your call to action today is you're going to, in the comments, tell me the number one pain of your target audience. So in this example, it was the woman who has, she's overweight. Okay? And then you're going to tell me the number one symptom of this pain. So I just want to understand that you understand and grasp the concept of symptom. So I know that we went through like a list of symptoms there for that woman, and it might be really hard to choose one, but just choose one. It doesn't mean it has to be like the biggest one. It could just be the biggest one in your mind, okay, and maybe in your experience. So just put the number one symptom of that pain, and then tell me what can you solve on your post or email or in your video for free. So what would be the semblance of the solution to their problem that would evoke curiosity for them to want to get to the next step with you? Cool, Ariel. So is there a question there? My person tells herself that she's not enough because her body is never what she thinks it should be. Yeah, and so that's okay. I would just say you want to be a lot more specific there. Because when I read that, I go, what does that mean? Like she doesn't like her hair, or she doesn't like her face, or she doesn't like what? So you want to be really specific. When you're talking to your target ideal woman, she knows what her problem is. So don't be afraid to leave people out that have other problems. You want to be really specific. What's her problem? Is she carrying more weight? Does she not like her thighs? You know, like her breasts too small or too big? You know, like women are so critical of themselves. So you want to be very, 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 very clear. Yeah. And then the mantra for today is everyone can find the money if they see the value. Everyone can find the money if they see the value. And what is the value? The value is that you have the solution to their problem. And they are deeply motivated to get out of their pain. Everyone can find the money if they see the value. And this is really powerful for you to reframe your own beliefs around people investing at that level, right? And your own investments. I will find the money when I see the value. I will become resourceful when I see the value. And all of my clients, everyone will find the money and, find the money if they see the value. It's a really good belief to start incorporating instead of everyone's broke and they don't have the money and I'm just interfacing with people who are broke. All right, so I'm done. If you have any other questions, 20 seconds here, put them in the comments. Otherwise, it was so fun again. I hope it was super valuable for you. If there was, besides your call to action, if there was any, big part of this that was super, super, super helpful, then I'd love to hear that. I love that feedback. Thanks, Jess. This is helpful to do the exercises together, like writing our emails and content. Yeah, cool. Awesome. So glad it was helpful, guys. You can always write comments as well, and I'll check back in later if you have any questions on this. I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks for participating in the challenge. This is so fun. Let's raise your prices. Bye.